Okay, let's give you guys some more practice. So here, find the limit of this as x approaches 0. And remember, try to get it into this form here: sine x over x, or sine x over 2 over x over 2. Try to get it so that this bubble is the same as this bubble here, or this bubble is the same as this bubble. And then as the bubbles tends to 0, then the whole thing here will be 1. Well, anyway, that's just a clue. It's up to you. So here, find the limit of this as x approaches 0. So press pause and have a go. Okay, so to do this here, visualize it as this block here times this block times this block. That's what you've got at the top here, and then at the bottom is just this block here. Now, now, and now divide top and bottom here by x over 2, and this here is just a trick because we want it in the form of sine x. Well, we want it so that when we have sine x over 2 divided by x over 2, something neat will, well, this here will tidy itself up. This here will become a 1. Well, the trick is divide top and bottom by x over 2. So here, visualize this whole thing here as this thing here, and then you divide by x over 2. So you divide by x over 2. Okay, so basically, when you're up here, this whole thing here, that's this thing here, and then remember we're dividing it by x over 2. So visualize it as a one whole fraction here, and then down here you've got another fraction. So remember here we're doing dividing top and bottom by x over 2, dividing top and bottom here by x over 2. So this thing here, which is this, divided by this thing here, which is this thing here. Okay, and then hang on, and then visualize. Well, visualize as this. Visualize it as this block times this block here. Move this block. Excuse me. Move this block out here. So in effect you have this fraction here. Okay, so move this block out here. So here you've got this block here, which is this one here, and then multiplying with this fraction here. So you've got this fraction here. So so this thing here, as x tends to 0, this thing here will be 1. Okay, because you've in effect got this sine bubble over bubble. This, as x tends to 0, these two bubbles here will automatically tend to 0. So it's like you doing this sine x over x. Well, anyway, so here, break this up into this thing timesing this thing here, and then at the bottom, visualize this thing as sine x divided by x over 2. But when you divide a fraction, you've got to times the reciprocal of this thing. So sine x times 2 over x. And then when this thing gets multiplied with a fraction here, it gets multiplied to the top, giving you 2 sine x over x. So basically, when you're here, when you're here, break this up as one fraction. So that's this thing here, and then move this out. So it's like this. Okay, and then this thing here, visualize as x divided by this thing here, and then hang on, and then this thing here, as x tends to 0, this thing here becomes 1. So you can imagine it as being a 1 here. So you've got this block here, which is this one here, times 1, which is the same thing. And then down here, remember you're dividing by this thing, but then we've got to visualize it as sine x times times 2 over x, which then becomes 2 sine x over x. Okay, and then well, you can see that this here is 1 as x tends to 0. This block here will be 1. 1 times 2 here will be 2. Okay, so in effect this whole thing here will become this. Okay, and then hang on, and then let me think. Yeah, and then yeah, and then this thing here, as x tends to 0, this thing here will tend towards 0 as well. So here you've got, well, because remember sine of x will look something like this. Sine of half of an x, you're really stretching it outwards like this. But for the limit as x approaches 0 will still be 0. Well, anyway, the limit of this here will be 0 as x approaches 0. So you've got 0 here times 3, which is 0. 3 times 0 is 0, and then over 2. You see this thing here, nothing breaks down here. 0 over 2, nothing breaks down. So so this whole thing here will become 0. And then looking at the graph, hang on, looking at the graph, you can see that, well, as x approaches 0 from the left hand side, it's approaching 0, and then as x approaches 0 from the right hand side, it is also approaching 0. Okay, so the limit here is 0.